I love football, and in football there are two people I adore. One, Lionel Messi, and two, Didier Drogba. Worldwide, Lionel Messi comes first, but back home in Africa, I talk about Didier Drogba. Now, let me tell you a bit about Drogba. Drogba is this person who made Chelsea win the Champions League in 2012. They won 4 English titles and Community Shield and so on and so forth, scoring over 100 goals in the process. He is an icon. But that aside, there is something so special about Didier Drogba that you don't find a lot in other players. That takes us back to his country, Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. Now, what happened? There is World Cup qualifiers. Ivory Coast is playing Sudan, and at the same time, Egypt is playing Cameroon at the same time. Now, if Cameroon wins their match, then there is no need of Ivory Coast struggling. They are going home. They will not qualify for the World Cup. And this would be their first time to qualify for the World Cup. So it's a big thing to them. Drogba approaches this match and scores the first goal. Another goal from another player, another goal from another player, and the game ends 3-2. A win for Ivory Coast. They have not yet qualified, if at all Cameroon is winning. So let's go back to Cameroon. What's happening there? Cameroon and Egypt are playing, and the game is 1-1. Minute 90, injury time, or the stoppage time. Cameroon gets a penalty. Is awarded a penalty. If they score, Ivory Coast out. So what happens? What happens is they lose the penalty. The penalty is actually saved, and Ivory Coast, the game ends, and Ivory Coast is jubilant, celebrating. Now, as Ivory Coast is celebrating, Didier Drogba does something. He runs to the cameras in the dressing room. They are flooded with cameras, and he was the captain. So he goes to the microphone with all the cameras, and then goes down on his knees and says, "Dear Ivory Coast, my fellow Ivory Coast citizens, I plead with you. You have seen what has happened. We have been united. We have played as one team. We did not look at the north or the south. We did not look at the Muslims or the Christians. We played as one, and we won, and everybody is happy. Please, 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 down your tools. Let us go to the table. Let us have an election. Let us have peace in Ivory Coast." Now, I didn't tell you that Ivory Coast has the northern part majorly constituting Muslims, the southern part constituting mostly Christians. Now, the government is made by majorly the Christian majority. So the Muslim feel like the Christians are taking over the government. We are marginalized. We do not have we are not in this government. We want freedom, or we want to be in that government. So there is civil war in Ivory Coast. Muslims against Christians. Muslims in the north, Christians in the south. It is a north versus south thing. And so far, thousands of lives have been lost. Thousands. More than 3,000 lives have been lost already. So it is terrible. The war has been going on for almost 2-3 years. Terrible, terrible, terrible atmosphere in Ivory Coast. But because of what Didier Drogba did, you see, all Ivory Coast citizens, or many of them, were on the telly watching the game. And then they had him on his knees with tears rolling down his cheeks. And then he ordered his fellow players to also kneel down. And he had only one message: stop the war, please. If you love what we have done, show it by downing your tools. You don't want to believe it. In 1 week, there was peace in Ivory Coast. No more war. And they went and sat down and started to dialogue on how to hold peaceful elections. So Didier Drogba and his team traveled back to Ivory Coast, and because they were playing in Sudan, when they reached there, a week later, he organized a football match to be played in the north. So the Christians traveled to the north, and they had this game of Christians versus Muslims, a friendly match in the north. Now, the north is something like Somalia. Do you remember Al-Shabaab in Somalia and Kenya? Imagine traveling to Al-Shabaab majority area to play a friendly match when you are actually the enemy. But because of the love Ivory Coast citizens had on him and the sacrifice he made, there was no war, there was no fight in that game. It was peaceful, and actually it made every other citizen believe that he had a true intention of uniting the country. Remember, he did not want a political seat. Like many of us here would, you only get engaged if you are going to get something out of it. So this act made me love Didier Drogba so much. A peacemaker. He uses football to bring peace in his country, to bring warring factions, put their weapons down, bury the hatchet. Didier Drogba. Respect, even if I don't support Chelsea, which he played for. I am a Manchester United fan, but for what he did, I think so far he's the best footballer I've